Yo, 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 yo. It's been a minute, so I thought I'd pop in for a quick check-in here. It actually, something interesting to discuss. There's a bunch of little things I want to run through today as well, but it's not often when you are in the midst of an off season that you don't even know when it's officially going to start because of the CBA negotiations and everything like that. And you get an actual talking point for a team like the Indiana Fever, which has happened in the case of Sophie Cunningham over the weekend. A lot of discussion about some comments she made on her podcast relative to her goals, essentially of having a house and a longer term contract, a little bit more financial stability, if you will, a little bit more commitment from a franchise, from her next team, as she put it. Those were the comments that Sophie Cunningham made, her next team. So here's the thing. Having Caitlin Clark's back really paid off for Sophie Cunningham, because from the moment she had JC Sheldon in an MMA move, she has been making moves. Good Morning America, Arby's commercials, Adidas commercials. In the non-Caitlin Clark division, Sophie Cunningham is basically as famous, popular, recognizable as almost anyone else. She's in that realm because of that. People were so desperate to see somebody stand up for Caitlin Clark. And on the court, she brings shooting, she brings toughness, she brings versatility. So she does have value, but she's gotten a lot of off-court value from that Indiana Fever boom, that boost that you get in playing from the Fever. With her being a free agent, the question now is, how much do the Fever value her? And that will be interesting when it comes to Sophie Cunningham. So, like looking at the situation there, that's kind of the overall viewpoint of it. When you look at Sophie, and here's the comments that she made on the podcast that are in question here. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean she's leaving the Fever or anything, but it was intriguing that she said next team.
And I think the next team I play for, I want a bigger contract, so then I can buy a house and be homey and cozy.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That could be the Liberty. It could be New York City. It could also be the Lynx, and it could be Minneapolis. Like, you just don't know.
It could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere, right? It could be anywhere for Sophie Cunningham, who, again, is everywhere now because of this season with the Fever. She's everywhere. You see her everywhere. You see her with Sydney Sweeney, who I'm not even sure. Who is Sydney Sweeney? What has she been in before? I see her online. I'm not really sure who she is exactly, but Sophie made a funny joke about that picture, and she has become a social media star. I mean, you look at the Indiana Fever social media numbers. This company called STN did a evaluation, and STN Digital, and the evaluations came in, and the Fever were 55 million in social value, which calculated the estimated paid media equivalent created by organic posts factoring in impressions, video views, and engagements. The next team was the Dallas Wings at 8.61 million. So that's the difference. That's the Indiana Fever difference. Now, Cunningham could be negotiating a little bit through the media here. She could be completely uncertain. Everybody's uncertain. She said she's not a dumb blonde, and that factors in to how she's doing all this and how she's evaluating it. But then there's the relative value for the Fever, right? The relative value for the Fever and where they put that with Cunningham. Let's take a look at their cap table real quick from Spotrac. This is how the 2026 cap looks right now for Indiana. Only Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Michaela Timpson under contract. So those three will be back, especially, assuming Timpson, because she's on a rookie deal, will be back. And then beyond that, who knows? Lexi Hull is restricted, so you can assume she'll be back because the Fever have the chance to match anything that comes her way. And then you look at where the contracts lined up this year. Sophie Cunningham made $100,000, which is only $10,000 more than Sydney Colson, and was the same as Damiris Dantas and $100,000 below Natasha Howard. So she is in line relative to how she produced for a raise, above that veteran minimum kind of deal. But she's going to land below the max kind of deal that Kelsey Mitchell gets. Is there a sweet spot in between? Sophie has capitalized so much off of all of this, and that will probably continue whether she's on the Fever or not, because she's already gotten the boost. But it's not as if she doesn't give the Fever value on the floor also. Again, that toughness is something they can use. That shooting is something they can use. She can play multiple positions. So she's not just like easily replaceable, but at the same time, the entire league is a free agent. So it's kind of going to be a fascinating situation. It's kind of going to be a fascinating situation, and definitely something to watch in the coming months if they do indeed get a CBA. So that was one of the things I wanted to hit on today. A couple other, just going to do a quick show because, like I told you guys, I've been working on a project very hard, so that's taken a lot of my concentration, and obviously we're also in a bit of a lull. There was a lot of sports news over the weekend, which we'll get to also, but it's a little bit of a slow period considering what I have been covering, and I was working on the other project, so I just wanted to make sure I popped in and said hello here, not forgetting the live audience. And I promised somebody we'd do a members event, so we got to get that on the books as well. The members event, all those things on the agenda and on the table. Tomorrow is my son's birthday, so I will not be here tomorrow, just so you know. We'll see that the rest of the week, but I wanted to make sure I came in and said what's up and what's what. Make sure you get those comments in, likes, subscribes, all of that good stuff. Member chats, super chats go first as always. So get those suckers in too. You got the NCAA women's basketball season tipping off tonight. I don't have too much to say on that until the action actually commences. I mean, UConn is going to be an interesting team to watch, given the, Sarah Strong plays for them. And Sarah Strong is just about, one of my favorite players to watch in the entire sport. AZ Fudd may be the biggest star in the sport. To see how Mylasia Fulwiley does with LSU is definitely an interesting subplot. All of those things as that action tips off, but we'll get more into that as the games actually get going. Then there was the World Series over the weekend as well. Look at I don't know if you guys saw Caitlin Clark's post on that. I'm sure this audience did, but it's wild to see just the engagement on a post like that where she said, "This is the best baseball game I've ever seen." It's got 3 million views, 72,000 likes. That was a really, really entertaining series over the weekend. Baseball is built on moments, and definitely, that was great for the sport. You see the ratings numbers for sports are coming in, and they continue to increase, and they continue to go up. Live sports are one of the things that can keep people captivated, right? Like where you're locked in and you've got to be there. You got to tune in. You can't watch it later. You can't catch up later. You can't binge watch it. That's why you see so many of the media values go up, including for the WNBA, of course. Then there was also, what happened to Jaden Daniels last night on the football field, which just sucks. I mean, you hate to see anybody get injured, and I won't show it here. One of the things that comes up with injuries like that is whether or not they should be replayed a bunch. And I'm a weirdo because I always kind of I like to watch those injuries to see if I can figure out exactly what happened and what the severity of it was, like the truth of it was. So that's another topic that took place over the weekend. And then there was the Jay-Z versus everybody we can get to if we want to talk a little bit of music. But like I said, just popping in to say hello. And the question of the day was, do the Fever need to keep Sophie Cunningham. Get your member chats, get your super chats in, and I will make sure I answer as many of those as I can. I was going to needle Kevin a little bit because there's, Drake has been accused of botting his streams or artificially increasing his Spotify streams. And that's just very funny in the wake of the Kendrick Lamar beef and the accusations that came the other way. Kev says, pretty sure that people want to hear about the Knicks defeating the undefeated Bulls. Yeah, I don't know. Ja Morant is the most interesting NBA story right now, I would say. His comments over the weekend. Here's what Ja Morant said, if anybody missed that, by the way. He basically called out his coaches in a game where he sucked, which was kind of interesting. And you're looking at a pretty big fall off for somebody who was at one point considered a massive talent in the sport, or still considered a massive talent in the sport. Here's what Ja Morant said over the weekend that caught so many headlines, but this was Ja.
Don't play me, honestly. That's what basically the message was after, so it's cool.
The coaching staff misses with
It's
this?
cool, bro.
We good? You didn't have anything physically wrong from his illness or anything?
I'm
You were under the weather.
fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
All right.
All right.
So things are not well in Memphis. Obviously, I took that little bit from Lebitard's show there. It was the first one that came across my stream right here. But Blake Griffin had also called out Ja Morant on the Amazon show. And Blake Griffin had some choice words for Ja Morant, which was something that got some attention because it was sort of a refreshing kind of take in the way that basketball media goes. It wasn't like yelling and screaming. He just kind of delivered it.
But what did you see from Ja Morant, Blake?
I didn't love what I saw from Ja Morant tonight. That to me is a very bad sign, and it's something that it has to change.
Yes.
The Memphis Grizzlies will only go as far as Ja Morant takes them. And when he's engaged, we've seen it. He's unbelievable. He's an all-world talent. But that type of effort right there, that's the thing that we will call out. And UD, you are an effort guy. The Miami Heat is an effort organization. I know you would have had something to say if you were on that team right there. And
So you see 3 of 14 field goals for Ja Morant. Two big concerns, I think, when it comes to Ja. One, his game is so predicated on like explosive athleticism, right? Like, and he's gotten a bunch of injuries over the years because he's trying to take it and yam on people and stuff like that. And if that doesn't work out, then it's not really working out to the same degree. It's not as transferable, right? Or as adaptable necessarily. The second thing on that is, remember the whole Instagram deal, gun or whatever it was? That was such a moment of the judgment was so bad in that instance that I don't, that's the kind of thing I don't like to judge people or not allow people to recover from mistakes. But that was such inexplicably bad judgment without accountability applied since that I just can't take him seriously. And, if I'm an opposing team, I would never trade for him. You put these things in combination with that, I would never trade for him. So that's what I got to say about Ja Morant. To me, his NBA career will never recover. It's over, more or less. Not his career, but more or less, he won't recover in the sense of being what he was supposed to be when he was on that ascent. So that's the Ja Morant take right there. Get those member chats and super chats in. Back to the question of the day. Sophie Cunningham, is she a must keep for the Indiana Fever? Anything else you guys want to talk about is on the table. Whether anybody could beat Jay-Z in a versus, any of that stuff. Where my members, where my super chats. I know I was off for a bit, so that probably screws things up. Like I said, I've been working hard on a project that I will share with you sooner rather than later. Hopefully that, will be put into the universe sooner rather than later, but it required a lot of my attention. And just wanted to pop in and say hi. JD Mack says, I pity the fool who doesn't give Sophie the best deal possible. Yeah, I mean, look, Sophie is it almost feels like she's been a part of the Fever longer than she has, given all of the attention she's gotten in the last year, and specifically relative to the team and the Trey Sletche stuff and everything else around her. And the fact that, obviously Caitlin Clark and her were on the bench during that run at the end. And Sophie is she's been running a little bit on the treadmill as well. I've seen getting that jogging in, which said she said I'm back or something like that. So she is on the mend, but she's also everywhere. Right? I mean, like that it just shows you what the value she got out of this season. Again, the question is, how much do the Fever value her? And then there's the other part of it, which is like she does talk a lot, which is one of the great things about her, that she doesn't bite her tongue or anything like that. But at the same time, is there ever some pushback from the other side in regards to that? Or just like, all right, we don't need your podcast every week to be a topic of conversation. Smito says, do they need her? No. Should they keep her if possible? Yes. It will all depend on what other teams offer her. The Fever can't offer a near max contract. If others do, she might be gone. Look, I mean, I don't think she floats those scenarios if it's not a possibility, right? Like, I don't think, these things come up if it's not something that could be on the agenda or the table. Kevin tells me that Sweeney is most famous for the show Euphoria on HBO and is going to play Christy Martin in her new biopic. Okay. I've never seen Euphoria. I don't really know what it's about. I've heard of it. Christy Martin's a boxer, right? But yeah, I've only seen Sydney Sweeney on social media. I had no idea who she was, really. She's just being honest, looking out for her future. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not dissing her or blaming her. Kent Carlson, while we all speculate about it, I do believe behind the scenes, Caitlin Clark is not going to just let them walk away, folks. Caitlin wields more power than any of us might think. Well, Caitlin wields a ton of power, of course. I mean, with her influence and her, I mean, everything, a ton of power. There's no question. But we don't know what Caitlin thinks about it either without her going on the record specifically. But yes, if Caitlin ever thought something was a deal breaker, they're not going to go beyond and break that deal. Hit the like button. Thank you, Kent. Sam Davidson says they need to give her a 3-year deal, which equals what the new percentage of the CBA is for a high-end role player. If it goes up 100% to 125%, she'll get 500 to 750K. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell without knowing what the numbers are. But yes, that's what she is. She is a high-end role player. A high-end role player. And that's how she should be paid. Like a back-end starter first off the bench is about where she should be paid, I think. Twofold says, yeah, run it back. They grew into a real team that conquered all adversity. I would like to see another big enforcer and Azare Stevens. Yeah, Azare Stevens would be perfect on this team. No question. She would be perfect. For sure. Sophie is a gift to CC. Doc says, no way Sophie doesn't return. It's good for the team and good for her bag. I definitely value Sophie over Tasha Howard, no question. Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I don't think Natasha Howard will be back. That would be surprising to me if Natasha Howard is back. I think Caitlin is back, Aaliyah is back, KK is back, Lexi is back, and then the next most likely are Sophie and Ari McDonald, if I had to guess. Good morning, Robin in chat. Sophie is my spirit animal. Hope she goes to delivery. She gets booed every time she's at Barclays, Ernesto. She gets booed. CC, KM, AB, LH, SC, McDonald, Timpson. I don't know if you should keep or can keep all vets. Yeah, no, I don't think you can. Ernesto, can anybody beat Jay-Z in a versus? I know, didn't you hit up on Facebook about that the other day? I got a short on that on the channel, by the way, if you want to check that out. That's, I think it might be the video before. No, I did a couple videos yesterday since the actual videos, but it's the last short. Some big shorts over the weekend. That and the WWE one I did as well. Get those likes and subscribes in. Any other questions, any other member chats, any other super chats, get them in right now. Like I said, just a quick hello today. Wanted to make sure I didn't leave this dormant for too long, the live streams. And always appreciate you guys. That's really why I'm here today, to make sure I let you guys know that I do appreciate you. Yeah, so I think I ran through all the topics I got. Any other member chats, any other super chats, get them in. Sam says Ari is coming back on a discount because of all of the extra work CC gets her off the court. I mean, I don't know about that, but Ari and CC on the floor at the same time is bad, but Ari is a great sub for Caitlin. True. Caitlin had the big marketing thing over the weekend. What was the Dick's Sporting Goods ad? Let me find that real quick. Her merch is going to go crazy before next year because she's going to finally have that Nike deal. And you already see she's going to have her own section of the Dick's Sporting Goods, it looks like, with Caitlin's court, if you will. Just getting that work in, the Polaroids in the gym. So I think you're about to see like a massive Caitlin Clark marketing blitz before next season. We just need the CBA to get done for real. LL Cool J has zero chance against Jay-Z. Zero. What songs is LL Cool J playing? I mean, he's been around a long time. But tell me what songs is LL Cool J playing in a versus against Jay? I Need Love? Headsprung? I mean, LL doesn't have the records to go against Hove. It's not even, that's a blowout. He can't go 5 deep against Jay-Z. And neither can Nas, really. I mean, Nas has Illmatic and he doesn't have enough bangers. What can Nas play? He could play Hate Me Now and Made You Look on top of like some of his great records, like It Ain't Hard to Tell and stuff. But the only people I could see standing on stage with Jay-Z, rappers in a verses, would have been Kanye. Kanye has the catalog to do it, but he kind of lost his mind. And then Eminem. Eminem is a legend of the same status. I just don't know if he has all of the same kinds of records as well, like to go against You Don't Know and PSA and joints like that in Paris. Kendrick is on the way up there, but that's about it. Everybody says stuff like Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne can't go more than 5 deep against Jay-Z either. I mean, Lil Wayne don't have an answer to some of those records just can't be beaten. Not to mention the stage presence. I mean, look, Emma's amazing. I'm not dissing M, but I'm not dissing M. Legend. Mama said Nokia. Yeah, but I mean, like he's just got too many joints. And no, Mrs. Officer ain't getting it done. Rock the Bells is a good one. Is it in everybody's interest that the CBA is sorted quickly? Yes, I hope so. Because the sooner the CBA gets sorted, the sooner we can get to the everything else, right? Like sooner we can get to the expansion drafts and the crazy free agency and everything else that comes along with what this offseason will be. So I hope so. I hope they're not stupid enough to take it as, like both sides, by the way. It's like I don't have I want all the players to wind up in a good and better position. Like I want that, but I also don't want anybody to get too big for their britches. And the thing is, when I say stuff like that, people are like, you're siding with the owners and the corporation. It's just they can wait longer. It's just always the nature of the business. So hopefully it does get worked out. They did that 30-day extension. Hopefully that continues and it gets worked out. Get your likes and subscribes in. Any other chats? Get them in. Otherwise, going to wrap this sucker up for today. Like I said, got to prep for my son's birthday tomorrow. I'm getting texts about it right now and get back into the other stuff I got cooking. But I did want to make sure I popped in and said hello because I haven't done a live. I don't think I did one last week. And we got to get the members only chat scheduled. How does Jay lose to Wayne? Give me Wayne's songs. Everybody says this, but what are the songs that beat? What are the songs that beat Jay? Because he doesn't have them. A Millie and what else? Fireman. What else? They're getting, Jay's getting him out the paint because Jay can throw out, You Don't Know, PSA, Paris, 99 Problems, Money Cash, Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Big Pimpin', Encore, so on and so forth. Like can keep going and going and going and going and going. Wayne has Jay-Z lyrics tattooed on his body. Run This Town, Empire State of Mind. Jigga what, jigga who. Oh, Rishi. I graduated from Full Sail Sportscasting. My professor Rishi told me about you. Would love to chop it up with you one day. Yeah, fine. Hit me up on DM me on Twitter or something. I'll respond. Rishi and I went to college together. Great guy. The siding with the owners annoys me. I'm siding with the basketball. Yeah. Cool fact, me and my wife partied with Lil Wayne 3 weeks ago in Miami. That must have been pretty epic. A Millie, Lollipop. All of those songs are getting out. Jay's getting those out the paint easily. If Jay picks the right songs, so none of those even win their specific round. A Millie can't beat PSA. Lollipop can't beat In Paris. Go DJ can't beat You Don't Know. I'm not saying that Nas doesn't have hits. He doesn't have hits on the level of Jay-Z. And he doesn't have the versatility and he doesn't have the wealth of bangers that Jay can pull from any kind of song from any kind of era. And then there's the features. I'm not, It is what it is. I'm telling the truth. All right, y'all. That'll do it for me today. Wanted to pop in and say hello. Thank you. Appreciate you. We'll see on the rest of the week. Obviously, I'll keep uploading videos to the channel in the meantime when the topics strike me. But just wanted to make sure I kept this thing rolling. It didn't even keep, made sure everything was in working order. Thank you, JD Mac. No, I mean, Kendrick is the one. Kendrick is the king of hip hop right now. It's not even close. Kendrick is the king of hip hop. Thank you, Just a Kid from Brooklyn. All right, y'all. Appreciate you as well. Until the next one. Yeet.